My brother, by fire by force, Africa is to come together. Ghana has announced it will send the military to Jamaica. No, not that kind of military. They're sending military to Jamaica to do what? To help with reconstruction after Hurricane Melissa. Congratulations. I always told you Ghanaian people are nice people. Ghanaian people are nice people. Ghana is amazing. Ghana, you have no freedom. If you've never been to Africa, you want to visit one country first, you can go to Ghana. Hands down. Tanzania, lovely place too, but Ghana, no doubt. So Ghana has announced it will send military engineers, not just people, military engineers to Jamaica at the end of the year to help with the reconstruction of the country after Hurricane Melissa. So what happens is very simple. Jamaica is right here. You can see the distance between Jamaica and Ghana. It's very far away, but the hearts are connected because it is said that a lot of people actually from Jamaica, their ancestry goes back to Ghana and the neighborhood. Okay, so the connection is very alive. Matter of fact, when you go to Ghana, you go to some of the markets in Ghana, and you go to Jamaica, they look very, very similar. Very similar. So what happened? Hurricane Melissa, this one here, struck Jamaica in October 2025. Big hurricane causing a lot of damage, widespread destruction, particularly in areas like Black River. It was bad. I always have my people in Jamaica, Wagwan, mi boss, I see you. I had to call them to find out, make sure they're good. I was actually personally planning a trip to Jamaica at the end of the year, but unfortunately, we're going to have to wait for the next year. But it's beautiful to see a black country support other brothers somewhere else in the world. Well, the announcement was made of the president when? On the 80th anniversary of the Manchester Declaration. So the 5th Pan-African Congress. The president of Ghana made a declaration on the 80th anniversary of the Manchester Declaration. And you're certainly asking, what is Manchester Declaration? So in order to understand this, we're going to have to rewind and go back to time. October 1945, what happened was many black people across the world went to meet in Manchester. Liberation movement and frontline people had a discussion. So in total of 90 delegates, including 26 from Africa, plus representatives from the Caribbean, from the US and Britain, black people came together in Manchester in 1945 to have a discussion. What was the declaration about? The declaration called for an immediate end to colonial rule in Africa and the Caribbean, demanding self-determination and independence. So black people in 1945 in Manchester had a meeting and they discussed. They asked for an immediate arrest to colonial rule in the Caribbean and Africa. You can see how connected we are. Can you see how connected we are? I mean, you don't see it very much because you think, they're Africans, we're Caribbean, we're American, we're African American, we're African American. You see how connected we were back in time. It's just this generation that's stupid. Now, it's people of today that are very stupid, fighting over stupid things. Oh, we eat corns with cheese, we eat eggs with honey, we eat... What kind of stupidity is this? I don't understand. In 1945, your grand-grandfather went to sit down in Manchester where they had a discussion. Over 80 delegates from all across the world, black people, from Africa, from the Caribbean, from the United States of America, from Britain, asking for the liberation of Africa. So Ghana was basically celebrating the 80th year of that situation. Just a quick list of people that were there so you can remember. This man right here, Kwame Nkrumah of Ghana. This man here, Jomo Kenyatta of Kenya. There was Hastings Banda from Malawi. Obafemi Oluomo from Nigeria. Peter Abrahams from South Africa. Amy Jake from Jamaica. W. Du Bois, African American. And many other people. They all went together to find one solution for everybody. And I know a lot of people have never heard about this. And I'm not going to blame people for not knowing because, as time goes, people tend to focus on things that are actual. And sometimes it's very sad. But we're here for that. We're here for the union. We're here so we can all learn. Okay, so let's get back on track. Basically, Ghana is sending 48 engineers to Jamaica to go and support. Houses are broken. There was a flood. People were unalived. People are in pain and sad. And 48 engineers not coming from a European country, but from an African country. It's a beautiful thing. Okay, these are not drug dealers, okay? They're not going over there to try to... No, not at all. These are engineers, masons, carpenters, and other skilled workers. Their mission is to construct makeshift shelters, support infrastructure recovery for displaced Jamaicans. Isn't this beautiful? I think this is very beautiful. These are the type of things we need to hear from each other. We need to support one another. From Africa to the Caribbean to the United States of America, we are one people, my brother. It's just this generation that messed up, really. Let me put it this way for you. Back in time, I'm going to show you. Back in time, Ghana and other African nations in 1957, after independence, this man right here, Kwame Nkrumah of Ghana, provided funding, meaning money, training, and diplomatic backing to liberation movement in countries in Africa, such as Guinea, Congo, and South Africa. My South African people, did you hear me? Ghanaians with this man, Kwame Nkrumah, back in time, in 1957, provided funding for the ANC, food, training, and backing for these countries. You, Congo, and Guinea. Why isn't that done today in 2025? Let's go to Tanzania, okay? Tanzania back in time, I know Tanzania today is different, but Tanzania back in time was different. Tanzania of Julius Nyerere, this man here, Mwalimu, the professor. Tanzania hosted exile liberation groups. I mean, back in time, when some African countries were being freed, other Africans were still in colonies. You know, some Africans are free of colonialism, other Africans are still juggling with them. Now, whilst other Africa was still juggling, some Africans were helping other Africans. Tanzania did a lot of work from 1960 to 1970. Julius Nyerere, this man here again, okay? What they did was, they hosted liberation groups. People from the ANC of South Africa slept in Tanzania. Okay, people from Frelimo, Mozambique slept in Tanzania. People from ZANU-PF in Zimbabwe slept in Tanzania. They offered them base, training camps, and political support. That was Tanzania for African people. Let's go again. Look, let's go to the north. Algeria. You see this country here? Algeria. They're not necessarily black like us. Obviously, you're going to find some black Algerians, but not all of them are dark skin. Algeria back in time, in 1960, after independence, Algeria became the hub for revolutionary movement. Algeria, I know today people say, no, we're not black with this. No, back in time, they were the hub of revolutionary movement. They were offering weapons, okay, guns, training, diplomatic recognition to groups fighting colonialism. Imagine giving diplomatic recognition to groups fighting colonialism in Angola, Mozambique, and South Africa. I think it's beautiful. Another instance of an African country helping another. Look at this country right here. It's called Zambia. Zambia is in a dire need of electricity right now for some reason. Zambia uses hydroelectric means, and currently the dam is quite dry because there's no rain. So they need the rain to have water so the turbines can turn and have electricity. And because of that, Zambia has to import electricity. From who? From Africans. Now Zambia is importing electricity from Mozambique, from Malawi. It's all going through Zimbabwe. So Zimbabwe is using its platform to transfer the electricity from Malawi and Zimbabwe to Zambia. That is the beautiful thing we want to see among Africans. The Ubuntu. Ubuntu is not just Africa. Ubuntu is black. Ubuntu is in Jamaica. Ubuntu in Trinidad. Ubuntu all over the world in America. This is what we want to see. In the meantime, Kenya sent military in Haiti. You know what happened? Yeah, Kenya sent military in Haiti to go fight Haitians who are fighting for themselves. Basically, you need to understand the history of Haiti to comprehend. Haiti has been segregated for the longest time. Haiti is the first free black nation in the world, and they did not like that. They freed themselves by fighting the colonialists. Haitians were taken from Africa by force, like most of the people, by the French. But their colonialism was brutal, bad. One day they came together, had a prayer as Haitian, and they stood against the colonialists in the island. You see the island of Haiti? They fought against the French. They destroyed the French. After they won that war, all of the countries of the West said, you know what? We're going to put you to the side. We're going to make sure we asphyxiate you and you're going to cry. And if you don't subdue yourself to us, we're going to come, all of us, and destroy you. Haiti was pushed to the side in a way that they wanted to discourage all countries in the world, all black countries, from trying to free themselves. They wanted to make an example out of them. An example. And that's what it was. So nowadays, Haiti still goes through very difficult time. And Kenya sent soldiers to go fight the very same Haiti that are trying to free themselves. Let me put it this way for you. In Haiti, there's 12 families. 12 families that are the richest families. They control telecommunication, they control transportation, they control electricity, they control fuel, they control everything, food, you name it. the controllers. And these 12 families are not black. The majority of the people in the island are black like you. But the people that are controlling the economy are not. Some of them come from the Middle East and from the country you don't name. Now, guess what? They're trying to protect their presence. Guess who they sent to Haiti? America wanted to go initially, then they thought about it. They're like, no, we can't go to Haiti and send soldiers again because we've done that in the past. It didn't go well. If we send soldiers again, the world will say that we're trying to play the police of the world. How can we go into Haiti, stop them from developing, but without really having to deter or to dirty our name? Let's just use other black people. They went to Kenya, had a discussion. They offered them money to go over there and fight Haitians. And Kenyan soldiers are in Haiti. You need to ask yourself a question now. And this is bad, it's very sad. And from what we heard, as soon as Kenyan soldiers get to Haiti and learn about the history and understand what's happening on the other side, they stop fighting each other. Let me know how you feel about this. Ghana sending soldiers in Jamaica to go and support them. I think this is very beautiful. They're sending engineers. These are not asylum seekers or drug dealers. This is beautiful. I love Ghana, man. You gotta love Ghana. God bless you.